Loris. We were almost robbed, and I was practically murdered.
You'll be all right now, Aunt Maria. As soon as I get you untied, I'll call the police.
Calling car 17. Calling car 17. Go to 2100 Sugar Road. A robbery.
Now tell me just what happened. Here's the police. You can tell them, too.
So what's the trouble here?
There's been a robbery. You got here very quickly, officer.
Oh, yeah, I happened to be in the neighborhood when the police call was broadcast. Now, tell me all about it.
Well, I'm Miss Contero.
Yes, I know you, Miss Quantaro. Who doesn't? Now, who was robbed and what they get?
You must apprehend that bandit, officer. I've been beaten, humiliated, and insulted.
Oh, I see. You were here when the burglar broke in.
What are you doing here, Roberts?
My job, Inspector, getting a story.
Well, isn't this gentleman a police officer?
He's neither a policeman nor a gentleman. He's a nosy reporter from the Bulletin. He picks up police broadcasts and tries to beat us to the scene of the crime.
And usually does. Not only to the scene, but to the solution of the crime.
All right, Miss Quintero. What happened?
Well, my Aunt, Miss Martinez, was here alone when an armed man came through the French window.
Yes, he was a very brutal-looking creature with a large gun and a most revolting manner.
Just a moment, lady. I'll get around to you.
He threatened her, then tied her up and started searching the room. I don't know what he was looking for. There's nothing of any great value here. Fortunately, I arrived in time to disarm him and chase him out.
You what?
I took away his gun, and he ran out.
Oh, be your age, Grogan. Miss Quintaro's very good at jiu-jitsu. You'd know that if you read the bulletin.
What did this man look like?
Well, he was about 6'1", weighed about 195 pounds, about 40 years old, wearing a light tweed suit, dark hat, dark tie, light shirt.
I'm looking for a pair of English dueling pistols.
Sorry, sir, but we don't have any. Perhaps Mr. Manning could tell you where to find some. He's in his office.
Did you get the book?
No, the girl came back too soon. She's a wildcat.
Spare me the details. You failed on the most important mission you ever had. Sit down and listen. This isn't one of your cheap racketeering jobs with a few $1,000s at stake. We're playing for the ownership of a sizable part of this city. A matter of millions.
You didn't tell me.
I'm telling you now. 18th century, the King of Spain made a grant of about 10 acres of land in the heart of this city to Don Fuentes Quintero and his heirs for all time. Well, that grant is still good, still legal. And I am one of the descendants of old Don Q.
Then you're heir to this property.
Yes, but there are many other descendants. Fortunately, I have the advantage. None of them knows of the existence of the King's grant, whereas I have it.
Oh, why can't you cash in on your share?
Well, my share alone would not be very large, and there are other difficulties. The present owners of the property purchased it in good faith, and some of my relatives may not wish to cooperate in taking it away from these innocent parties.
I get it. Your relatives will have to be removed. Who are they?
I only know a few of them. That is why I must have the book I sent you after. It is the family tree of the Quinteros, and Dolores has the only known copy. It'll give us the name of all the heirs of Don Q. After they have been eliminated, and the King's grant suddenly discovered, Carlos Manning will be the only living heir.
How about letting me knock off this Dolores girl first?
No. She's too prominent, both socially and in the world of sports. Her death would start an investigation which might uncover our whole scheme. So we must start with some of the others. And to do so, we need the book containing the family tree, which you failed to get. Get in touch with Sam Sloan and tell him that I...
Dolores, listen to this. On the very front page of the bulletin. Dolores Quintero beats would-be bandit. Society girl chases thief. When a daylight marauder entered the home of Dolores Quintero on Artuga Road, he found he had picked the wrong hen coop.
Yes, Aunt Maria, I've read it.
How dare that young scamp refer to this hacienda as a hen coop?
I talked to him on the phone. He promised to come out here this morning and apologize.
Young men of today are all hoodlums. The art of being a gentleman has been forgotten. Hen coop. To think that I should ever live to hear the descendants of Don Quintero referred to as poultry.
This is Mr. Chandler, a writer.
A newspaper writer?
Why, no, I write historical articles.
I see. At least you do not slander people while they are still alive.
Please excuse my aunt. She's a little upset over an article she read in this morning's paper. Now, what was it you wanted?
I'm writing a history of the old Spanish families of the Southwest, and I thought you might be able to help me. You have any old letters or records of the Quinteros?
Well, I have a genealogy of the family, but it's the only copy in existence. I couldn't loan it to anyone.
I'd appreciate it if I could look it over and make a few notes.
Certainly. Won't you sit down? This is authentic and up to date. It includes all the descendants of Don Quintero. There's some paper and some pencils. Please handle the family tree carefully, will you?
This is splendid. I won't be long.
Mr. Roberts, this is Mr. Edward Chandler. Mr. Chandler is writing a history of our Spanish families and using my genealogy as a reference. I hope he'll treat the Quinteros with more respect than you do.
The last time I saw Mr. Chandler, he was on trial for a confidence racket. He was known as Sam Sloan then, alias Slick Sam.
He's just as slick as ever.
He got the family tree.
Now, just take it easy. He almost got the family.
That genealogy is simply a family record. I can't imagine why anybody would want to steal it.
What's this?
That man was evidently copying these names from the family tree. Someone is taking an unusual interest in the descendants of old Don Q.
glory of the Spanish Don soon dwindled after they came to America. They lost their grandiloquent titles, married, and became Browns, Smiths, and Joneses. Rich men, poor men, beggarmen, and thieves.
Yeah, but when do we start knocking them off?
Well, we must select our victims carefully. Starting with some of the more obscure names whose connection with the Quanteros is not immediately evident. The method will depend upon the personality and habits of the individual. The old and destitute, well, they're likely to commit suicide. The young and reckless often stumble into unfortunate accidents, which will be recognized as such by the police.
Thanks for fixing it for me to get this gun from me.
That's all right. But remember, gathering news and making news is two different things.
Okay, Inspector.
Yeah? Miss Quantero to see you, Inspector.
I'm busy. Get rid of her.
All right, let her come in. Hello, Dolores.
Thanks for seeing me.
What can I do for you?
I want to read you something out of this morning's paper. The body of Celia Radcliffe, an aged news vendor, was found floating in the harbor last night. There was a suicide note in his pocket.
Yes, I know about that. I'm sorry for the old gentleman, but...
Wait. This one happened last week. James Morton, well known in nightclub circles, was run down and killed by a hit-and-run driver at the intersection of 3rd and Clymer Streets.
We're searching for the driver. What do you want me to do?
I want you to find the murderer of both these men. Their names were on the list that Sam Sloan was copying from the Quantero family tree. Isn't it perfectly plain that they were murdered?
Not to me. Both these cases were handled by the coroner's office and closed. I can't reopen them on a hunch.
What do you think?
Well, I'm afraid he's right. Unless you can produce more evidence.
I will. And without help of either of you.
It seems we're not very popular.
No. But news items just naturally seem to gather around that girl. I'll see you later.
What do you want?
I want to help you find the Quantero relative.
But you agreed with the inspector.
Not I. It's obvious that someone is after the scalps of the Quantero tribe. It's a big story, and I'm going to beat Grogan to it. What's your plan?
There are 2 more names on the Sloan list. Thomas Moran and Juan Perez. They must be found and warned. Neither of them is in the telephone directory.
Well, that's easy. We run down all the Morans who are listed. One of them may lead us to Tom. Then we start on the Perez's.
Oh, but that'll take all day.
All night, too, probably. But we'll get him. Come on, let's go. Bullseye this time. Tom Moran's the bartender in there. I warned him of his danger, and he'll take steps to protect himself.
Does he know Juan Perez?
Yes, Perez drives the truck for a hauling concern out on North Broadway. Come on, let's go.
You want Perez? Yeah. Got a load of furniture in Glenwood that has to be moved tonight.
Sorry, but I've got a job that'll take me until midnight.
But this is important. I'll pay you double.
I'd like to make it, mister, but not tonight.
Sit tight.
Get the truck started. I'll keep him pinned down.
Close in on him. I'm going aboard.